Welcome to Mordor Gundogs. My name's Charlie Thorburn. We have just done a little video in a training session with Waffle, and so I thought it'd be quite interesting to bring his brother out. Now this is Mick, okay, and he has just arrived for some boarding school. So he is a dog that left here as a puppy, 10 weeks old, went to a friend of mine whose family have had a number of dogs off us over the years. In fact, his father bought my first ever dog that I sold as a trained dog. His father bought many years ago and has subsequently had another 4, I think. And his brother's got a couple of my dogs, and so a bit of a family affair. So they've just moved to Scotland. They want to get their first dog, and they got little Mick. So he left here as a puppy. We've had regular communication regarding what they should and shouldn't be doing. He's watched some of our videos. He's been for a lesson or two, and he sent him here to boarding school because he basically wants him to be a really great little gun dog, a really good family dog, but they did want to have him as a puppy. They've got small kids and they just wanted the kids to enjoy that. I think, yeah, there was definitely a sort of some toing and froing at the beginning as to whether just to get him as a ready trained dog. I think probably the next one might be a ready trained dog, but they wanted to have a puppy, so here he is. So I thought it'd be quite interesting just to put Mick through his paces. He doesn't know me at all. He just arrived here yesterday, so he really doesn't know me. He's not, he doesn't remember he came from here, much as people love that romantic idea of, oh, he's come home. He hasn't got a bloody clue. It's like a baby not knowing what hospital they're born in. It's ridiculous to think that they know where they came from, unless of course they stayed until they were older, 4 or 5 or 6 months old. Or Waffle will always know this place because he's obviously spent his entire sort of growing up here. So you remember your first school, but you don't necessarily remember your first nursery and you certainly don't remember coming out of hospital. So it's kind of relative to that. So I don't know what they've done or not done with him, really. I know he hasn't done anything naughty because I've asked, but I don't know how his heel work's going or anything, or how attentive he is or anything else. So we're just going to put him through his paces and see how we get on. Yes, so sorry, we're so halfway into the video, and I just want to reiterate. So this is, for those of you who've followed us, this is Waffle's full litter brother, okay? Mummy is Sausage, Waffle, as you all know, you've met, and this is Mick. So they're the same mum, same dad, same date of birth, exactly the same age. When we decided to keep one, aka Waffle, to train, Mick was the other golden boy. You can see they're a different colour, but genetically they are very, very similar. They're exactly the same litter, born on the same day, born within about an hour or 2 of each other. So I just wanted to make sure everyone understood that we are doing a like for like comparison as best we possibly can. One of them stayed here all his life. One of them went off to a new home as a puppy with a little bit of guidance from us. Hopefully he's not been too naughty and has now come back to hopefully catch up with Waffle and become a really awesome little family dog and a gun dog. Okay, so Mick, hello little man. So I need to just obviously make friends with him, make sure his tail's wagging. Don't want to put any pressure on him straight away. So I've literally just sort of let him come down to the field. He's been pulling a little bit on the lead, not like a steam train, but certainly not walking to heel perfectly. So when we come into the field, I'm just going back to the sort of basic stuff that we would do with a young dog. Lots of change in direction, watching him all the time, engaging with him. And you can see that he has done some heel work, with a couple of tugs and a little reminder. He is walking to heel, so he not perfectly, definitely not as good as Waffle, which is good. Thank God I can train a dog better than someone who doesn't train dogs. Sit. He knows how to sit. He's attentive. He's looking at me. Now, there's always that question of is he genetically wired to be attentive? Because we've bred him and we try to breed them to be kind of keen and attentive. Has he been encouraged to be attentive? Hopefully there's a bit of both. I'd like to take some credit, but I also don't want to take all the credit away from the chap who and the family who own him. Mick, heel. 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 Good boy. Heel. Heel. Sit. Now I'm going to throw a ball for him just to see what he does with that. What's this? I'm going to leave the lead on because I haven't let him off the lead at all. I don't know him. He looks quite happy. I don't think he's going to go anywhere, but initially I'm just going to leave the lead on. Come on, good little man. Come on, too busy scratching. Now he's jumped out, he's picked up the ball. Good boy, come on. Good boy, good boy, good boy, well done. Good boy. Not an immediate recall, straight back with the ball. He didn't pick it up and come straight back to me. There was a little bit of, woohoo, I'm off to have a bit of a hoolie. But with a very, very little bit of encouragement, really, he was back to me and I made a fuss of him. So let's just do another one and see. But that's why I left the lead on him. It just sort of takes the edge off them. It helps, gives me something to hold on to. None of our dogs really wear collars, just in case one of them gets caught with another one or whatever, you know, just not something we like to do, and they get caught in the undergrowth and things. So by leaving the lead on, sit, it just helps me get hold of him again. Good boy, good boy. Go on then, go on. Now you can see the second one, he's gone, bugger that. I'm off to do my own thing. Come here, come here, come here. Now he's not being really naughty, he's not disappearing off into the distance, but he's completely blanked that second retrieve, which, you know, it is what it is. He's not maybe being conditioned in the same way as we do our dogs to kind of be super keen on the retrieve, or maybe the opposite. Maybe he's in a household with 3 small kids. 2 of them are certainly old enough to throw a ball. Maybe he's just had lots and lots of tennis balls thrown for him, and he's kind of like, oh yeah, I'd rather just sniff this ground because it's more interesting. Again, none of this stuff worries me. He's just new, he's just sort of settling in, and I don't want him to get in the habit of not retrieving a ball, but I kind of need to put him through his paces to see where he's at. You can also see that when we're standing there on the lead, he's just a bit more like constantly pushing his limits, trying to sniff, trying to go, and I'm correcting him. Whereas, you know, again, I'm not patting myself on the back at all. I'm just giving you an honest comparison. Waffle's much more prone just to sitting there, like Mick is now, sitting there and staring at me. But considering this is day 1, I think, you know, it's not going to take long before he is doing the same thing. Just a bit of conditioning to encourage him to do the same thing. Mick, sit, sit. We're going to do a little sit and stay. Sit, sit. Don't want to go too far. I go back to him, tell him he's a good little boy. Well done. Sit. Sit. Just keeping him calm, keeping him settled. Now, he's done a retrieve. He's been off the lead and been on the lead and run around, and I've got hold of him without too much effort. So I'm pretty happy to let him off the lead. If in doubt, though, don't. If you're ever thinking, oh, shall I let a dog off a lead? If you've just got a new dog, or I had someone here 2 days ago for a lesson. They'd got a dog as a sort of rehoming situation. I trained a dog for their parents. They'd come up to see me because they wanted some help. And literally on day 1, they got the dog. They took him to the park, they took him for walks, took him out and about, took him on the beach. And they were like, oh, he's not coming back very well. I'm like, wow, the fact he's coming back at all is pretty good. He doesn't know you at all. He's out in the park with complete strangers, and they're just like, oh, why isn't he coming back? So I'm just told them to rein it back in, think about it from the dog's point of view. He doesn't know you at all, so why is he going to come back? Sit. So little Mick doesn't know me either, but there's no one else here apart from Ian, so I'm going to let him off. Mick, come here. So he's not listening. Not listening, so I'm just going to get after him. Hey. Mick, hey, come here. Good boy. Come here. Just had to catch his bum there a little bit because he was trying to scoot past me. But you can see he's just a little bit off DIY on his own. Hey. Come here. Come here. So that realistically for me, you know, I've seen a lot of dogs. I see a lot of dogs all the time. That 5-10 minutes that we've just been out with him is enough for me to kind of get a measure of him. We've got a nice little dog who's looking at me. He's wagging his tail. He's happy to be with me, happy to get attention, but he's got a little bit feral, basically, a little bit too much independence. Now, I haven't actually been to his home because they moved to Scotland about 6-8 months ago and bought a house a few hours away from him. I haven't seen it, but what I'm guessing is it's a house with quite a big garden, okay? And little Mick's probably had lots of time out in the garden with the kids in the summer when he was young, you know, wandering around in the garden, doors getting left open. Not got up to any mischief, not been off chasing deer and things, because I've been promised that he hasn't, but just up to kind of, oh, I'll just sniff over here and I'll just do my own thing, and and just a little bit of a monkey, okay? But that's why he's here, because he's not got up to any mischief. He's not done anything really badly wrong. And basically what we're looking to do is just sharpen everything up and turn him into a really awesome little gun dog. And I think I think as long as he doesn't start singing, we're going to be able to do that no problem. But I just wanted to do that as just a little comparison, and it just gives people an indication as to kind of, you know, how when you bring them up in quite a sort of regimented way, how they are just so much more attentive, so much more kind of with you from you know, at sort of, you know, this sort of stage in their life. Ash, who's my kind of right-hand man, who you've met probably on a couple of the videos, he quoted someone the other day who he'd spent a bit of time with reading about or having some lessons with or something when he was learning a number of years ago. And the gentleman's quote was, "A year on the lead is 10 years off a lead." Now, it doesn't mean literally you have to keep your dog on a year. It's that keep it controlled, keep it limited. Don't just let them go. Don't give them too much freedom. And then you'll have 10 years of a dog, you know, which hopefully this guy will be as well. But certainly with Waffle, you've got 10 years of a dog that never needs to go on a lead. You never need to worry about him running off. You never need to worry about him chasing a deer. He's just so going to be so ingrained, and he's going to be so good that simply that isn't going to happen. So it was just a really good quote, and I love quotes. I love analogies. So it's something that's definitely going to stick with me. A year on the lead gives you 10 years off the lead. So let me leave that with you. Remember, you get out what you put in, and we'll see you all next time.